Bolt Bros here. Plus, we might have a special guest here in a little bit, but we're here talking about the mini bye week, kind of what the state of the team is, almost at a basically halfway point. Crazy to think about that of the season. Plus, we'll talk a little bit about some possible trade deadline type deals that could potentially happen with this team. It's a lot of things that you got to like about this Sunday of stressful free football too. So I'm excited about it for once. And let's just go ahead and jump into it, guys. Let's get it.
Bolt Bros. Let's go.
What's up, Herbert, man? You watching the Bolt Bros podcast. Stay tuned.
Charter blue dreams, stadium lights gleam. Bolt Bros on the beat, lead stream. Chargers rocking speeds, Sonic supreme. From the podcast to the field, we're a team. Charged up, Bolt Bros on the night. LA Thunder in electric delight. Bolts in the battle, sparking bright. Charged up, ride the lightning, feel the fright.
All right.
Let's go. But, guys, we just want to have a quick video with you guys, just talk a little bit about this mini bye week and everything too. Always you want to feel a little charged up.
Yes.
Still going into the next week, and speaking of charged up, there is definitely a lot of Charger players right now charging up for the second half of the season too, man. So we're just glad to have you guys here too. Stressful free football is always very, very appreciated too. So
and bottom line, guys, it's exciting to look. I'll just one little recap. Got mollywopped by the Colts. Okay, just embarrassing. And we're going to talk more about this as well too. But I think you kind of need a game like that to make you kind of focus, right? And you're like, oh boy, okay, started great, struggled, all the above. We need to be ready, and you cannot take a game off. You have to make sure you go forward and just be your best player ability, right? Yeah. I think getting Khalil Mack back was pretty huge. Obviously, getting Joe Alt back was pretty huge. We'll talk more about that a little more later. But man, this is what we can see this team becoming and what they want to be.
Yep.
The one thing I think about, I hate the hypotheticals and the coulda, woulda, shouldas, but what if Rashawn Slater and Joe Alt have been playing this entire time, right? I mean, guys, how much better would this team have been if we, again, not going to happen, but it puts into perspective how much better we could be if we have all of our players, but it's exciting.
No doubt, man. I mean, but there's a lot to like so far with what we saw from that last Vikings game. Are we back? Sure. Are we back to that 3-0 Chargers team?
Yep.
I really, really hope so. It definitely showed a whole heck of a lot. We played our game. I want to bring in our special guest, by the way. He is in the backstage. He's in the green room right now.
He's in the green room.
He's
having a few drinks. He's getting loaded up.
All that kind of stuff. He's getting charged up back there and everything too. So let's go ahead and bring in our guest here. Let's bring him on in. We got Charger Takes in the house, my guys.
Hey.
Let's go.
The bros, how are we doing?
Dude. Doing good. Glad you could join on. So, Charger Takes, and you guys follow him as well. Guys, actually, where can everyone find you as well?
Instagram and TikTok, just at Charger Takes.
Awesome. Okay, cool. Well, this is good. So YouTube is a new experience for you then. So this is good. So we're going to go through some slides, and we definitely, since you're our guest, we want to get your opinion on, what you think of what we're talking about, and definitely want to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, sounds great. Thanks for having me. Stoked to be here.
Absolutely.
It was awesome to be able to meet with you too a little bit at Thunder Alley, Electric Avenue. I think we were at the crossroads basically at the game there of whichever avenue you wanted to go to and everything too. But we love seeing what you're doing. And I think the Charger community honestly has really embraced what you're doing too.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's kind of crazy actually.
It's amazing, right? And what a cool story. I mean, it seems like, tell us a little bit of how this all started anyways.
Yep.
Yeah, week 1 preseason this year, the day before the game, I called my friend that I was going to go with, and I'm like, hey, let's do funny little interviews at the tailgate. Bought a microphone on Amazon for $20 and did not have the account Charger Takes created yet, had no idea what I was going to call it. It wasn't even like that, it was like honestly organic. And we just ran around the tailgate interviewing some fans at Thunder Alley and Electric Avenue.
Yeah.
And like two of my videos went pretty well. They did pretty good. Like one with a Raiders fan that was talking smack to Charger fan, and another like native San Diegan talking about staying true to the team. 2 videos did really well. And then I'm like, oh shoot, well, I guess I have to keep doing this. And then, like you said, the community has embraced it. And I just, yeah, it's so cool.
That's
I
awesome.
love it, man. And you know, at one of your videos that you had recently too, and you were asking, it was a guy from Texas, and I think it was one of your more recent videos, just talking about the San Diego Charger fans and abandoning the team and everything too. It's, you know, that's always one of those hot topics, you know, because I mean, I remember very, very clearly of fans going to the Chargers headquarters, burning jerseys in front of there, and just absolutely just abandoning the team immediately after they left San Diego. And you know, look, I mean, Andrew and I was born in San Diego. We basically grew up in San Diego too, and everything too. And it sucks to basically see something like that happen and that team leaving. I mean, when you see Snapdragon Stadium and what was there, it's just doesn't have that same feeling there. And you know what? Going back to it, and why I'm talking about this too, is that I think the thing was that there's a lot of city-based fans, not team-based fans from San Diego. And that's where my head's at with the whole thing too, that I love the Chargers. I hate that they left San Diego, but at the same side, hey, at least they didn't go to Wisconsin or something. Keep it in Southern California and everything, guys. And it's still a Southern California team. So just kind of want to hear your take on that, Charger Takes.
I agree with all that. Like I actually broke up with the Chargers for about 3 years because when I saw them playing in the StubHub Arena, I was like, all right, this is just kind of.
We went to a couple games there, for sure.
Yeah, and so like I'm originally from South Orange County, from Laguna Niguel, and I've lived in San Diego for the last 8 years. And so for me, technically, the team moved closer to where I'm from, but it still just felt weird having them in LA. So I tried being a Rams fan. So I tried to like. I tried being a Rams fan, and that didn't really work because my parents are both from LA, so they raised me. I might lose followers for saying this, but they raised me a pretty diehard Dodgers fan. I try not to expose that on the Instagram page because everyone gets into wars in the comments over the Dodgers and Padres. But
Big time.
then living in San Diego for the last 8 years, and I probably won't leave for a long time. But, you know, really changed my perspective on the whole thing. Well, one, I just came back to the Chargers because what other team was I going to root for? Like, and I always kind of liked Tyrod Taylor too. So when Tyrod Taylor was the quarterback and they were in the Powder Blues, I'm like, all right, like the Rams thing didn't really work for me. And then I tried being a Falcons fan actually too. And I was like, wait, what am I? Yeah, I was like, wait, what am I doing rooting for a team in the South? Like I'm from nowhere near the South. So I came back to the Chargers for Tyrod Taylor. Then obviously he got injured, and then it made me a more passionate fan, like getting back together with the team. But what really changed my perspective on the entire Chargers leaving the city situation was listening to the Bolted podcast. Have you guys listened to that one? It's like a 7-hour audio documentary. And they bring up a really good point where, and this is a pretty hot take, but the city of San Diego is not really building an NFL stadium in a city would transform the entire city of San Diego.
Agreed.
And everyone likes to everybody likes to go in on the owners of the Chargers for not funding 100% of their money into transforming the city is essentially what a San Diegan is telling you when they get upset with the owners for not building a city.
For sure.
And so, come on, the city has to be ready to grow and ready to invest in that. And they're just not willing to do that. And you can kind of feel it when you're in San Diego. Maybe I'm jaded because I live right in Mission Beach, like where all the concrete's, musty and whatever. But hey, we're bolting up. The Bolt should represent Southern California. And with Charger Takes, I initially didn't have any type of mission for it other than just having fun. But if there is a mission for it, it's just to get more people to Charger games and more fans to rejoice. And just to fill the stadium.
I love it, man.
Very cool. Very cool.
You know, and the thing is, though, too, you're bringing the culture of the Chargers, ecosystem involved with your takes, basically, is what I love about it. And that's the thing that we really enjoy about your content is like you show off a little bit of like, hey, let's hear from the fans. Let's hear from who is the ones that are following this team. Let's see the culture a little bit of what's going on pre-game to these shows, what the fans are feeling after the game, all these different things. People get excited about that, man. And you really, and I've always said, even from the get-go, it's not like the Spanoses didn't try to get something going on in San Diego.
Yep.
They took 12, 13 years, I think, to even try to get to that point to potentially get a stadium there. I mean, it sucks to see that they left San Diego. Every time I drive on the 8, right where the stadium was, it's just like a piece of me dies every single time.
Yeah.
And it's just tough to see. But at the same side, it's not like they didn't try. And they still stayed in Southern California. They could have gone super far away. And they did not. So,
yeah. Well, that's good. That's a good story. I like that.
That's another thing too about the whole move. Like, one of my first videos that went crazy was I asked a Raiders fan, hey, like, your team has moved cities and states countless number of times and you haven't lost a single fan. What's your message to all the San Diegans who left their team after one move? And
very true.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
A great point. I mean, Andrew, I know you could say elaborate on that.
No, I was just going to say Kevin Harold, he was actually born and raised in Santee. That's actually where the Bolt Bros were raised too. We lived in Santee for a very long time. Right. So I remember riding my bike to 7-Eleven and getting atomic fireballs and garbage pail kids and all that stuff, man. That was our jam, dude. So Kevin, yeah, we like that. But yeah, no, good story, man. Glad you can jump on, but we got plenty to talk about moving forward. So let's get into some slides.
Appreciate you having you on the show here, Charger Takes. You're always welcome, by the way, too. But once again, guys, everybody out there, check out Charger Takes. He's got some great content. If you've not seen it already, we love seeing his videos. He does a great job of just getting quick hit interviews at the games and everything. Give you basically game experience while you're not being at the game. But come out and support the Bolts, guys. It's a great time right now. I feel like we're in a golden era of the Chargers right now, in my opinion.
I agree. With Harbaugh, anything's possible. That's for sure. Speaking
about a golden era right now, we're in a mini bye week, which is awesome. And obviously, Charger Takes, you can jump in anytime if you got an opinion on anything that we got here that we're going to show here. But Mr. Justin Herbert's in a good era right now. He's doing great. If we have not seen this so far, you saw Justin Herbert courtside with Madison Beer. He was actually, the Lakers even had a camera on him. He was on the big screen. One thing I was kind of interested about this whole thing is, let's see what the hate was on the post on Instagram. And actually, it was pretty dang supportive. A lot of people jumped in there, were like, hey, that's my quarterback, my guy, like da-da-da-da. I was expecting these Raider fans to start jumping in. It was Ram fans. It was like, hey, there was a lot of love for Justin Herbert, man. It was great to see that. But right now, he's enjoying his bye week. Absolutely, courtside with Madison.
Happy
Beer.
As a clam, dude. Look at that. I mean, goodness gracious. I don't think he could be happier. Look at him. We got that big dub, and I'm hanging with a smoke show, anyway. So
it was pretty cool to see. And you got to love to see that the Chargers are getting love at a Laker game. That's kind of a big premier type thing for an NBA team and everything too. It wasn't a Clipper game. Not saying the Clippers are lesser of an organization, but obviously the Lakers have won multiple championships. So it's really cool to see that they got some love from the Lakers too.
Exactly. Yeah, but chivalry is not dead, right, James? So shows
he says blocking passes, protecting his beer, making sure she's good. And the other guy over there just put his foot up, acting like all calmly with his beer in his hand, no big deal, kind of thing. But
so funny.
Justin Herbert's making plays, and even at the bye week at this point. So pretty cool to see, man. Pretty cool to see. But gotta love Herbert being out there.
That's amazing, though. Yeah, you got to protect your lady. You know what I mean? It's pretty exciting. So
good living, man. Good living for the bye week for him too. So love to see what he's doing out there, and love that he's getting a little bit of R&R at this point of the season. And we're at a midpoint of the season right now, right? So kind of good to see. But Charger Takes, man, you were at the game, right? You were at the Vikings games. Looked like you got the hookup of some really good tickets, by the way, too.
No, so actually the secret to those floor seats, so if you sit in the level 100 section from 119 to 121, you get free access to that floor level club that you saw me posting from. And so I buy my tickets on resale, typically on Ticketmaster the week of the game. And you can score. So for like $150, 100, usually like 160,
Yeah.
you can sit there. And then I just wait in line to get the free access to the underground area. And it's like an on-field experience for less than $200.
Dang, that's awesome. We might have to check that out.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll post about it actually. I was gonna make a video for it, but then when I pulled up to the underground section, there was like these 22-year-old kids that recognized me, and they were just super stoked to hang out. And I just started partying with them the whole time and didn't film a single info video on the topic. But I'll
man.
send the info your guys' way if you want to post it for everybody.
Cool.
Once again, there is a lot of cool little secrets within like SoFi that you find different areas for different VIP experiences and everything too. And that is a great one to know about. I've never heard about that at all. So that's awesome to hear. And that's a great Charger take that you took there on that one. And that's a great hookup, great way to have a great game day experience. Look, no knock on Qualcomm, but I didn't really think that there was a whole heck of a lot of that, or if you want to call it Jack Murphy Stadium, whichever way you want to call it, guys.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't remember any sort of experiences like that.
No, yeah. And so anytime I talk to a San Diegan who hates the Chargers, I always ask them, have you been to SoFi before? Because for me, my first experience at SoFi, I was like, okay, all right, I see why they left. This is nice.
Yeah.
This is worth the drive, genuinely. Like
100%.
it's I remember, what was I calling SoFi the first year? I was calling it an architectural masterpiece. That's how I would describe it to people who haven't been.
It is. You know, in for my years of living in Los Angeles, I was a season ticket holder through the mid 2000s, through the LT years. And so I would drive all the way from Los Angeles down to San Diego to watch every single game out there, playoff game or whatnot, and disappointments from those playoff games most of the time. But I would go out there. It was for probably 6 to 7 years I was doing that. And it was every single game. I was down there in Southern California in San Diego. And I always loved visiting San Diego. And it kind of gave me a good experience to go back out there a little bit away from LA. I could go visit my cousins and aunts and uncles and everything out there too while I'm there.
Yep.
But man, the thing is though, these San Diego fans, they got to make that trek up to LA because it's a great experience at SoFi. Absolutely stellar experience in a multi-billion-dollar stadium. That's just a great time. So, but going back to the point here, Charger takes, hey, Justin Herbert was cooking on Thursday night, 12 of 13. And this is when the Vikings were blitzing on us in the first half, 12 of 13, 178 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, 158.3 perfect passer rating too. Absolutely just crushing it on that game. Even we had, I think, 20 first downs at the second half. They only had 24 plays at halftime, basically. Actually, it was a little bit into the third quarter for us, too. This offense looked awesome. And it was just an enjoyable game to finally see kind of a correcting of this offense all around. So,
yeah, bottom line, they were out of sync from moment one against the Colts. Secondarily, they had no ability to do anything. And again, having Joe Alt back, someone made a comment earlier calling him the mountain. I think it was Chris B who said that. And control alt delete is what we like to call him as well too. Again, he didn't have the best game, but he had a really good game, especially being out as long as he was. But Herbert, man, Herbert's great. It's so funny how people are so up and down about him. Oh, now he's a top 5 quarterback. It's like, shut up, dude. Like, you hated him last week. Now he's all of a sudden amazing. It's like, come on, man. And look, like, I just it's here's the thing. You give Herbert time, he will carve you up. He will carve you up. And unfortunately, the line has been it's been horrible. You lose your top 2 running backs. Now you're on your 3rd running back. And we'll talk about potentially a person we could scoop up a little later on. But look, Herbert's amazing. It's not a Herbert problem. I've said this over and over again. It's not a Herbert problem. Right now, it's been a defensive problem. Getting Khalil Mack back also helped that as well too. We'll talk more about that also. But what are your thoughts on that Charger takes as well?
I think it's not a Herbert problem. It used to be a Staley problem, and then now it's an offensive line problem.
There you go.
And so, like, Herbert's rookie year, when he went off for fantasy for everybody, everyone's like, oh, Herbert lovers. And then we just had the weird Staley decisions and all that stuff. And then this year, it's a hurt offensive line with no starting running back. So I think if you're a Chargers fan, you're watching every game, and Herbert's one of the top quarterbacks. We just at times don't really have the the wins or the accolades or the playoff victories to really back it up. But I truly think, at least in my 30 years of life, one of the most elite quarterbacking experiences I've ever seen was that the almost tie game, the extra game of the season against the Raiders. If you guys remember, like all those fourth down conversions, all that elite passing. And so like Herbert passes the elite quarterback eye test. He passes the elite quarterback, pass per games, yards per games, whatever. But there's Herbert haters out there, and I don't think they're going to shut up until
he wins a
playoff
playoff
on a
game.
good playoff run.
Yeah. Well, we can talk about our sponsor here as well too. So we'll talk about our sponsor here a second. And so guys, you guys know a little bit about Sleeper, of course. Oh boy, it's not working here. Oh, there we go. You guys ever heard of Sleeper app? There's a little secret. It's more than just a platform for season-long fantasy leagues. This year, millions of users, guys, Bolt Bros use it as well too for fantasy. You guys should definitely download it. Enjoy playing fantasy sports on Sleeper, but the app offers so much more. Live stats, real-time updates, visualization on all stats, news feeds, great lightning fast updates on your favorite players and teams, real-time chat, engage with other users about individual players and performance during the NFL and NBA season. Don't get caught cheating on that. You might go to jail. Download the #1 sports app today and experience it for yourself. Use code Bolt Bros and get matched up to $100 today.
Yep. And remember also, too, you get $20 entry once you sign up. No deposit needed. Free code, or just use code FREE20. You get $20 instantly for just signing up. So
yeah, it's awesome, man. Sleeper's such a fun app, too. It really is a good time.
It is a really good time. And shout out to Hog Media also, too. Appreciate you guys and your support and what you do for us and the podcast community, man. We always appreciate it, my guys. So now going back to the Herbert talk, man, I was just going to even go back and talk about your game, and you brought up that whole Raiders-Chargers game. I saw a highlight of that recently, and I don't want to remember how that game ended, but at the same side, that was the game that made me think, yes, Herbert can make those throws. Herbert can be absolutely elite.
Oh, yeah.
He is absolutely that dog. And I think people kind of forget about that. Now, I think they forget about it because we lost the game, and it was not a Herbert issue. Once again, it was not a Herbert issue. That was a Staley issue in some ways. Now, I still do think subjectively, I don't think they were going to kneel to go to a tie, in my opinion, still in that one. Raiders, Chargers hate each other. Why would they not want to just stab that dragon in the heart and call it a day, and that's the end of your season? But it's our season continues kind of thing. So, but that game really showed me a lot out of Herbert, a ton about Herbert. And I love that game for a lot of reasons. Even though we lost, it still was one of those games that I think is one of the greatest Charger games I've seen in a long time.
Yep. So let's talk about the actual game. And ultimately what we saw here, this is what you call the Ogre package that the Chargers run. At least that's what Matt Money called it a while ago. I guess when they were at Stanford or something like that, they called it the Ogre package, where they just had nothing but big dudes. And by the way, we ran this more last year than any other team in the NFL. I thought the Eagles would be, running more Ogre package, but it's 250 plus players on the field at any given time, right? So we ran this how many times, James?
27 times in this game.
27 times. That's crazy. So again, it's so one running back and actually in this situation, 3 tight ends. So it's 13 personnel. So one running back and 3 tight ends means 13. So that's where you get the 13 personnel. And then you have Trey Harris here, the lone wide receiver. He's actually a really good blocker as well. So of course, guess what? They're going to say, oh, they're going to run the ball. And from there, they're going to say, oh, they're just going to run it, right? So that's why they're all up on the line. Well, in this play specifically, are on to Gatson, gash him for a post route down, the right side. So if you can show them run and then still power them, beat them up, tenderize the meat, and then pass out of these formations, guys, you're a deadly team. Again, it sells the play action because then they're like, crap, okay, it keeps these linebackers close to the line of scrimmage. So you could gash him easily down the field. And that's why Rondé Gadsden's doing so well, moving forward. So I can talk about this forever because I think it's fascinating. I think it's amazing because not many teams run offensive sets like this in the NFL. But they finally have the right people. And again, I think we'll be even better, with some of these other people getting hurt, like Mekhi Becton getting better and maybe even Trey Pipkins. I mean, you can argue all day about, Bobby Hart and such, but the benefit is it really is max protect. Justin Herbert's not going to get hit, and it keeps them, a little bit off kilter for sure.
Absolutely. And the beautiful thing is, though, this is that bully ball. This is like the bully ball package is the way I like to call it. I mean, if you want to call it Ogre, I'm going to call it Shrek.
There you go.
All that kind of stuff. But it's just a great package all around to work with. And there was multiple times, like I said, 27 times that they ran this in the game versus the Vikings. And some of the times it was Herbert runs. It was basically sometimes it was thrown to Rondé Gadsden. It was just a great package. It's a package that we've talked about a lot before we had Joe Alt, because we said, hey, look, let's just overload the line as much as you can, give as many blockers as you possibly can, and figure out what you want to do with the play at that point. When you got a terrible O-line, just put bodies on bodies at that point. And this is something that I really hope that Greg Roman continues to keep doing. I mean, he did it a ton last year. Keep it going, man. Keep it going for the rest of the season.
And you're also imposing your will on the defense. They didn't want to. They didn't want to play anymore. They were done. Yeah. They're like, we're done, dude. And they didn't try anymore. What's that? I can't remember the edge rusher, number 55, right there. He was out. They held him out like pretty much the fourth quarter. They're like, you're done, dude. We don't need you out there anymore. So, anyways, what's your thoughts on this Charger takes?
To be honest, I was busy partying with those 22-year-olds. I didn't watch too much of the game. I didn't really see what was going on.
You were having a good time.
That's great.
I love it. I think this is the kind of stuff we're seeing with Harbaugh.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it was easy to get the other teams just figured out Staley, and also as Charger fans, we always had decent coaches, and this is just a good example as to having a top tier coach that knows what's going on, knows what he's doing. And it's just a good example of that, the Harbaugh effect.
So the other thing too, and I'll talk more about this a little bit later on, but the interesting thing is we ran a lot of this, and then we ran a lot of 11 personnel. So one running back, one tight end, but the one tight end was usually always on the right side with Bobby Hart. So he was helping Bobby Hart block on that side as well. We'll show Bobby Hart's numbers. His numbers were really good. But I think basically they double teamed whoever the edge rusher was on that side the entire game just to make sure that side was locked down. And then they were okay leaving Joe Alt alone on an island on his side. So I thought that was pretty interesting.
I don't know if the edge rusher you're chatting about was Jonathan Greenard, which is their top edge rusher guy. And he did get a sack in the game and everything too. But
he did.
I mean, at this. The whole thing about this whole package is it's done a great job of giving either you're going to run or you're going to pass. Most people think you're going to run, but you're just overpowering the other team, which is awesome to see. And I love seeing that within this package. So just moving on to the next slide here too, as we kind of keep looking at this, whoa, wait a minute, put the glasses on. Wait, okay, glasses off. You see Antonio Gates, glasses on. Whoa, Rondé Gadsden the second. I mean, this guy's killing it. This guy, dude, once again, Joe Ortiz hit again in another 5th round pick. And he got a guy that's an absolute stud for this team. This is a guy that potentially could be a long-term option in the tight end room. And we really haven't had a good tight end since Hunter Henry, basically.
Yep.
And we finally got a guy that could be that dude.
Yeah. I mean, and the thing about Gadsden, here's I'll say this one thing or pass to Charger takes is that Gadsden, again, why did he slip to the 5th round? I had a buddy have this conversation with me, and I've said this so many times on the podcast. Why did he slip? Well, the problem with him is he's not really a wide receiver and he's not really a tight end, right? Yep. So as an NFL team, you're evaluating them for what you want to do. He's really a slot tight end, which is basically a wide receiver, right? So again, Will Dissly, you have Tucker Fisk. Those guys are on the line blocking, helping your offensive linemen. Gadsden's more of a wide receiver, right? So the difference is really that bottom line, he doesn't fit in a lot of people's schemes. Now, the good thing is Greg Roman, as much as people like to criticize him, and I like to criticize him at times as well too, that he's using him correctly as a slot tight end, right? He's like, no. And by the way, he does still line up on the edge. If you go back to the Ogre package, he's on the left side. So he will line up as a tight end, might chip, and then just run his route. So again, he's done a great job. And actually his blocking has gotten a lot better too. So, obviously this coaching staff's done a great job with him. So net, let me land my plane. He's fitting our system well, but they're also generating alpha and really making him successful in those packages like Ogre package and all the above. Moving forward, I promise you people are going to double team him. They're going to say, great, you're going to double team and have a corner on him and a safety up top. So we'll see how it plays out moving forward. But anyways, it's exciting to see that. So
gotta love seeing a good tight end for once on this team, man. And that's the beautiful thing about it too. If you go to PFF, which is very subjective, I'm going to always say that every single time. But
for sure,
his pass blocking rating was 68 flat.
Yeah,
and pretty dang good for us. I'll take that all day for him. He wasn't that great against the run, 39, but at the same side, he was still offensively catching the ball 84.8. It was a very elite levels for catching, and 70.7 overall ranking for him. He was the 5th best ranked player from this last Viking game. So you got to love what you're seeing here. It's a little bit blasphemous to say, hey, is he Antonio Gates? Very early on to say that. I mean, Antonio Gates had a way different type of story of how he got to the NFL. I mean, from basketball, not playing college ball, to basically undrafted, to basically becoming a Hall of Famer, an absolute stud in the NFL. So love to see it.
Yeah, someone keeps talking about Mekhi Becton. I think he hurt his knee, but it was a knee situation. He had his hand was all taped up. We're talking more about injuries here in a little bit.
Yep. But, just to emphasize a little bit more about what we got from Oronde Gadsden, he is currently rookie tight end recovery yards through their first 6 games. Let me talk correctly here, guys. He ranks
double your dose on Adderall there, James.
I know. What's going on here, dude?
Come on, buddy.
385 yards is what he's got for his first 6 games. So he is ranked 3rd in NFL history right now and above Brock Bowers. So remember last year, everybody talked heavily about Brock Bowers, how he's an absolute stud. He is a great tight end, but we might have a Brock Bowers the year after Brock Bowers with Oronde Gadsden. So big to see.
No, it's exciting. And again, he's an unusual type of weapon, right? And I think that's where Brock Bowers and Oronde Gadsden are very similar in that regard.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, when the Chargers drafted him, if you remember when they drafted him, they were hyped to get him. I remember Joe Ortiz was like, holy cow, I can't even believe you fell this far. So they had a much higher grade for him as well. But this was also a very good tight end class as well. And then obviously you see Tyler Warren. But Tyler Warren has been schemed up very well for the Colts. So we'll see how it goes. I think it'll be Tyler Warren and Oronde Gadsden moving forward.
Yep. And also just even put another level to what Oronde Gadsden is. He is actually 4th in the NFL right now for rookie receivers in general in yards too, which is pretty amazing to see. So, and to be honest, Oronde Gadsden's only had a couple games where he's had some big games all around, or maybe 3 games out of the 6 where he's really, really showed out. So I think even early on in the year, he was even inactive too for a lot of games too, which is kind of crazy.
He was, I don't think he suited out the first 3 games, if I remember correctly. So
bonkers.
So another, another one I got to talk about him as well. Is KLS, but KLS, no one's hurt. So why would he get on the field? So I'm curious to see what happens with that also.
Yep, absolutely. Keep it rolling, guys. And you got to love what Joe Ortiz is doing, man. And it was also, once again, it was a cool experience to meet Joe Ortiz at Thunder Alley, chat with him briefly too. That was really cool.
But hey,
where did you see Joe Ortiz? See, I got to get the interviews for some of the team personnel. What game was that?
That was
Broncos game, wasn't it?
Yeah, Broncos.
No. Yeah, Broncos game.
Was it Broncos? Yeah, it was Broncos. Yeah. By the way, it was pretty funny. I was like, "Oh man, you're doing such a better job than Tom Telesco." And he just kind of looked at me and he's like, "Oh, Tom's a good guy too." And I'm like, "Hey, look, I get it. You don't want to throw him under the bus or anything like that. But man," I said, "Hey, I just appreciate you for building such a good team." I brought up these 5th round picks like Cam Hart and all these other folks, and he's like, "No, I get it." And he's like, "Well, we got a good coaching staff." And you got to give the politically correct response, and that's what he gave me, and I thought it was kind of funny. But anyways, yeah, really nice guy.
I would say that probably if he goes through Thunder Alley now, everybody's going to try to. Hopefully, they don't have pitchforks and torches or something like that, and be like, "Give me an offensive lineman." But I don't know. I kind of have a idea that I don't think we're going to really get too much going on with the offensive line side of things for trades, but you never know. The salary cap is a complete myth of a team these days, so who knows?
Yeah, when's the final date? Trade deadline?
November 4th.
That's right. It is. That's
coming
right,
up soon.
November.
I mean, this is kind of a great time to basically make those calls for the Chargers. And I mean, they had a couple workouts recently too for other players, running backs, tight ends, and I think even wide receivers too on Friday. So I know they're still looking around, seeing what they could do, seeing what they could find. So
yeah, they'll probably on the phone for sure.
100%.
But you got to wonder though, like no team is going to give away a good tackle, or you'll get a swing tackle at best. All right, he's our 5th guy, and they'll make you pay for it, right? So I don't know. We'll see what happens. Charger takes any thoughts on some trades? I know we're going to talk more about them down the road. Running back,
you covered it. Where it's like it's easy to get frustrated over us not having a healthy offensive line, but it's not like we don't have a good offensive line when they are healthy. So it's like, what are they going to give up? And it's tough against the Colts because you see Herbert just get absolutely slaughtered, and then against the Vikings, we won obviously, but with Joe Alt too, and that's a huge difference. We also won that game partially just because like it was against Carson Wentz and a really beat up, demoralized Vikings team. But my take on that is if we didn't win by that much, if we didn't win by at least double digits, it would be considered a loss. We won by double digits. Joe Alt's back. And so what are we willing to give up for a temporary fix? Now that Joe Alt's back, we just have to, pray that he stays healthy.
Oh, please.
Well, the one guy we got to sign that we did scoop up is Odafe Owe, Big O, man. I think those 3 guys out there on the field, Thule, Odafe Owe, and Khalil Mack. Of course, we don't know what's going to happen with Khalil Mack next year, but we'll see what plays out. I've never been a big fan of trading for players in midseason because I think you don't go to camp. It's hard to put you into the offense. Obviously, we don't need wide receivers or anything like that, but offensive lineman's tough because it's a very rhythm type of position, right? You got to know your guys are going this way. And I mean, it's really hard to step in. So kudos to Bobby Hart. We're going to talk more about him a little bit later on, but someone made a comment about QJ was not targeted. Yeah. I think part of the problem, it goes back to what we were talking about. We did 27 snaps in that Ogre package. He wasn't out there. Right. So, Allen only got a few, I think he got 4 receptions, something like that as well too. So we weren't using a lot of wide receivers as well. And sometimes people don't get open, right? So, anyways,
was QJ partially injured too? I think I noticed on fantasy.
Yeah, he had a hamstring injury. I think the week before, something like that. So, so they may have kind of brought him back slowly.
Yep. And just to even give you a perspective too, if we ran the Ogre package 27 times, basically 1 wide receiver, we had 70 total plays too. So that's a pretty significant chunk.
That's a lot of plays.
Too. So, it is what it is. But I do think with the Oronde Gadsden, showing out now, you start kind of thinking, hey man, that 3rd wide receiver, if you want to say QJ is that 3rd wide receiver, it's kind of being overtaken a little bit by Oronde Gadsden at this point. Yeah. So,
well, and secondarily, think about it this way. We saw him in KLS. Like everyone loved him. He was amazing. He was a deep threat guy. Where do we put him? So, for him, he's probably chomping at the bit to get out there. But at the end of the day, it's like, well, dude, hey man, you have to wait your turn. So that'll just motivate him more to be better and finally, be successful when he gets a shot.
Charger takes Corbin Lester says, who invited Marcus Mariota? People said that about you, Charger takes before. And by the way,
I haven't gotten Marcus Mariota, but I have gotten Cody Bellinger actually.
Oh, Cody Bellinger. I can see that. I can see that.
So Corbin's from the Rivers Lakes Yacht Club. If you've seen him too, also at Electric Avenue. So
I met those guys.
Great dudes.
I'm gonna start doing like a MTV Cribs type content with all the different tailgate crews.
Oh, that's a good idea.
I had them do it a little bit, but they told me it wasn't fully set up for Thursday. I think
got it.
Something like that. So
Killer.
We get there early because that's what happens. I get there early with all these content ideas, and then the tailgate takes off, and I just start running around. And it's crazy. It's crazy because now I seriously can't take more than 20 steps without people recognizing me and wanting to get on Charger Takes.
Yep.
But I'm like, this is so cool. And then I forget. It's like all content ideas out the window. I'm just riffing with fans. But yeah, we'll have to get the yacht crew on an MTV Cribs type video here pretty soon. Next week, I'll get there early and I'll get them on.
Awesome.
That's how I feel when I go to the grocery store when my wife tells me to get something. I'm like, what am I here for again? I don't know, dude, there's too much here. Distracted by this, that, everything, dude. I completely forget what I'm doing here. So, yeah, but that's what it is, man. And that's the beautiful thing about what you're doing in your content. People are enjoying it and loving it, and they want to say hello to you. And that's something that we always love seeing too when we have fans come up and say hello. So, moving on a little bit.
That's what I did to you guys, actually.
Yes,
after one of the games, I recognized the bros, and I'm like, "Yo!" After the 3-0 win,
let's go.
No, that was so fun.
Such a good game, man. That was incredible to be at that one, man. And you appreciate being on the content, man. Anytime, we're always down to be on your content too. So, but moving on to just other points here. We've talked a lot about the O-line. Everybody loves talking about the O-line, but man, it is just a world of difference having Joe Alt on this offense. It's funny because even before this, I have a buddy that I'm doing this whole picking like the games of the week and everything too. And we're just seeing like who really knows ball better kind of thing. Who's going to have a better win-loss record at the end of the year? And I kept going back and forth about this last game because I was like, if Joe Alt's playing, yeah, we're going to get a dub. If Joe Alt's not playing, I don't feel as comfortable kind of thing. And, you know, these stats don't lie. You know, 4-0 with Joe Alt out there. You get basically what's 6.5 points more per game having Joe Alt out there. Way less pressures allowed. Herbert's rating goes through the roof. It's just a world of difference with Joe Alt there. I mean, just an absolute weapon, tip of the spear, if you want to say, whatever you want to put it as. He is an absolute weapon out there, and he makes
a huge difference. And it wasn't even his best game. Like, I think he was still pretty rusty, and you saw his ankle was like supremely taped. I don't know if you guys saw that, but it was, and then that one dude rolled up right on his ankle. And so, you know, luckily he's got 10 days to let it heal again. You know, hopefully he's be good. But by the way, and again, I hate to talk about what ifs, but what if Rashawn Slater and Joe Alt were still available on, oh man, where would this team be at that point? I mean, we could be undefeated at that point. I mean, come on. Like, I just think he's that good, and they're both that good. So, you know, it's not an option, but it's amazing.
It's where it is. Now go back to the draft last year too. Think about the whole Malik Neighbors pick over Joe Alt, or Joe Alt over Malik Neighbors. I mean, Malik Neighbors just blew out his knee, obviously.
Oh yeah.
Not saying that would have happened with the Chargers or anything like that, but bottom line, that Joe Alt pick has paid off dividends already for us in a lot of different ways. I mean, it's just the Harbaugh way. Make sure you build in the lines, make sure they're very, very tough, make sure you could overpower people. I mean, Joe Alt's a massive dude. After wins, for some reason, they always talk about eating cookies. I don't know what the deal is there. I'd like to know what this cookies thing is, but he's a weapon. He's an absolute weapon with this team. So gotta love it.
Yeah, and no beard Kyle is different. That's right. That's right, Miguel.
We're calling him Charger Takes now from now on.
Takes,
so Kyle is no bearded now. But beautiful thing to see Joe Alt out there. But to go back to the point, and I've been saying for the last couple of weeks, I feel like Bobby Hart's done a pretty dang good job on that right tackle. And just a couple of weeks ago, he was not in the NFL. I mean, he did not have this was his first start 2 weeks ago. Was it 2 weeks, 3 weeks ago, something like that?
Yeah.
But in like 4 years.
Yeah. It's a long time.
That's a long dang time. And the guy's going out there having a game last week. Mind you, I know we're playing against the Minnesota Vikings and everything, but 0 pressures allowed on 34 pass blocking opportunities. Bobby Hart could be that guy that could really stabilize that right side of the line. Now, obviously, I have Joe Alt on the left side. It helps everybody else's job on that line too. Obviously, we played a lot of Ogre package too. So it kind of helps out that you got more bodies on the line. But hey, you got to love seeing what Bobby Hart was able to do. A guy who just signed up a couple weeks ago, and he's balling out there for us. He had a great game, probably one of his best games of his career last week too.
Yeah. Yeah. So I know, and again, not to put a little cold water on it, but Tucker Fisk was on that side the entire time, and he is an amazing, he's basically like another offensive lineman.
Yep.
So he was there. They were double teaming whoever was on that side, which is good. But it also goes to show you that's what you need to do to protect Justin Herbert. Make sure you're going to stop the pass rush. So pretty good.
Just to give you PFF rankings, what Bobby Hart had, he was 80.3 in pass blocking, which is absolutely elite level for you. 51.3 in run blocking, which is not the best, but his total overall was 57.5. Now, I'll take good anytime on the O-line. Once again, when you get a confident Justin Herbert, you're going to get a much better looking game like what we saw against the Vikings.
It's night and day.
Yeah,
It's
night and day. Absolutely.
You see that meme where it was like when Joe Alt's back and they showed highlights of primetime Brady? It's like Herbert when he has a healthy O-line. That's exactly what it is.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
And it's funny. I have a buddy who's a Patriots fan, and he kind of just laughed that off. Like, yeah, I know what you're saying, dude. I know Tom Brady's Tom Brady. I get it, bud. But hey, man, he's a world of difference when you got that O-line out there. Allows him to feel confident, allows him to run free, which he did a lot within the Vikings. Just looked a whole heck of a lot about like the 3-0 Chargers that started the season. So that's a beautiful thing to see, a beautiful thing to watch.
Yeah, and that's one thing. I'm glad he started running the ball more because he's had that ability to do it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And for some reason, and I understand why. You want to get the ball into your playmaker's hands and then he not take a hit or anything like that. I understand that. But, man, sometimes he always has open grass in front of him. And he's such a good runner, right? But anyways, I'm excited that he's starting to do that a little bit more. Again, within reason, folks. Like, let's make sure we're not getting him blasted when he doesn't need to be. I remember that, like, what was it, week 2 last year? He was running off to the sidelines, hurt his ankle, twisted it, like a worthless play. You didn't even need to run. And so I think, within reason makes a big difference.
Peaky Bolt's comment is well timed, by the way. Morning, Bolt Bros. Hey, morning to you, Peaky Bolts. Whoa, okay, there you go. To those thinking we'll trade for a high-end RB, it's a low probability. With Herbert's used mobility, just to our point, we just need O-line to make holes. Then an undrafted RB could look good, plus Hampton. Now, going to my next slide here. Omarion Hampton was still in a walking boot in the locker room after the game. He's basically been on the IR since week 5. He could come back for the Steelers game if he's healthy. Now, the whole talk and what I'm hearing is that it's going to be more than 4 weeks with Omarion Hampton. I really hope that's not the case. But shout out to Kamani Vidal and what he's been able to do past 2. Well, I should say he played the last 3 games. Obviously, against the Dolphins, he had a great game against that one. I mean, one of the worst run defenses in the league. But you go to the Vikings, who had a kind of a mid-tier type run defense and still had a great game. But it goes to show the offensive line can create a good run game also, too. And maybe it was just that bringing back Joe Alt. And guess what? You get a good-looking run game all around with this team. So Kamani Vidal, to me, has solidified RB2 at this point. Once Omarion Hampton comes back, obviously he's RB1 too.
Yeah.
Now there's all those trade rumors out there, which we could kind of dabble on a little bit right now. And maybe I'll just throw it over to the next slide on this. Breece Hall, that's been the guy that everybody's been talking about. I was even looking at some Jets podcasts. They were talking about potentially wanting like a 5th round pick, which sounds very little to basically get a guy who's a very good running back. We already did trade off our 5th round pick, by the way, to get Owe on the team. We only have, I think, 4 or 5 picks for 2026 right now.
Yeah, so, let me look at that up.
Right now, it's kind of like, how many picks do we want to give up if it needs to be a 2026 pick? Now, Breece Hall is a 2nd round running back. He doesn't have a 5th year option. So essentially, they have not signed an extension for him. Breece Hall said that he wants to stay with the Jets. Personally, my opinion, run away from the Jets, Breece Hall, because you might be in a really, really bad situation for the rest of the year. I don't know if you're going to win a game by any means. You have a chance with a team, with the Chargers, with an elite quarterback, elite head coach, the opportunity to basically play in the playoffs, all of these things. Breece Hall, come on over, brother. Like, we're ready for you. Now, I don't want to basically push down Kamani Vidal by any means, but the reason why you get Breece Hall is you get a guy that could pair up with Omarion Hampton for a very long period of time. And have that 1-2 punch kind of thing. Think about the Lions with Sonic and Knuckles is what they like to call them too. 1-2 punch. That's what we tried to get with Najee and Omarion Hampton. And guess what? Najee's out. Omarion Hampton's on the IR. We want that 1-2 punch, and it fits extremely well for what Harbaugh wants to do. Impose your will on the other team, be that physical bully ball type team, end games with the run game. And Breece Hall would be a great fit, in my opinion, for this team.
So we only have 5 picks.
5 picks. Okay.
Now, but we could get compensatory picks as well too. So so we'll see how that plays out.
Yep. So, I mean, that's something that I'd say, hey, if we're going to go out there and get one, Breece Hall's been one. If you want to go back to the offensive line, and I should have chatted about this earlier, Braxton Jones was one of the guys that we're talking about who's from the Bears, who just got put on the IR, by the way. So I think that trade is not going to happen at this point unless we want to trade for a guy on IR, which that would be kind of strange to do. But who knows? Personally, in my opinion, we only got $2.2 million per what we're seeing on over the cap right now for cap space to spend. We don't got a lot of money. Obviously, the salary cap can be a myth and it can be manipulated in a lot of different ways. We have $111 million next year to spend. So, hey, maybe it's kind of a thing where you make a deal. Hey, we'll pay you next year, my guy. It's kind of like Wimpy from Popeye. You know, I'll gladly take a hamburger today and pay you next Tuesday, kind of thing. So who knows? That's kind of a weird comparison, but that just popped in my mind while I
was going to say that's a little strange. Again, we talked about the Adderall earlier on today, so yeah, double your dose, bro.
It's early in the morning. It's early in the morning. You know. It's early in the morning. Still waking up. But going back to what Breece Hall's contract, he's on his 4th year of his 2nd round contract. $4.3 million cap number. You're at halfway point. If you do a trade and you absorb the cap number, we probably have enough money to do it, but we won't have any money to spend anything else unless somebody renegotiates a contract of some sort to free up some cap. I don't think that's really a mid-year type situation. That happens a lot, but bottom line, if you go with the Breece Hall, you potentially could fit him in there. I think it would be really, really awesome too. And man, so Nick Mangold did die just, by the way, right now. I was hearing about he was having, I think, some was it like kidney failure or liver failure or something situation there. But man, rest in peace, Nick Mangold, dude. What a stud. Hall of Fame center guy was an absolute stud for the team there.
Man, Miguel says it's sponsored by Popeyes. His death? Not cool, Miguel.
Oh, I don't think that was timed towards Nick Mangold.
Okay.
That was my reference.
Miguel, boy. Woo. Boy.
Man, oh man.
Rough, dude. Rough.
But anyways, rest in peace, Nick Mangold, man. I loved seeing you out there. Great center for the Jets.
Oh, he was amazing.
But moving on a little bit too, Derwin James suffered a low ankle sprain. There was an MRI undergoing after the game. I didn't hear much news about it. If you look at what just a low ankle sprain could be, I know he was in a boot on the sidelines too. Low ankle sprain could be just like a day-to-day type thing. Depends on how bad it is. Obviously, if you think about high ankle sprains, you always think the worst, which we've gone through a lot of those with this team. Denzel Perryman, Joe Alt, just to be examples. Those take 4 weeks, give or take. Low ankle sprains could be just a day-to-day, 1 week type situation. We're obviously playing the Titans the next game. It's if you needed to, that's probably a good game to kind of sit him out just to kind of get him right for the rest of the season. So,
yeah, but he also has his hand wrap right there. So clearly he was dealing with some sort of wrist injury. And by the way, Derwin James was leading the league in missed tackles, just so you guys know. Not to throw him under the bus, but he wasn't right. Like there was something going on with him. And so it's good to see that we were able to be successful defensively without him being on the field because he wants to be out there. I mean, he absolutely wants to be out there. I mean, he was pissed after that Colts game. If you watch that 2-minute interview, he was fuming. So look, like he needs to get right as well. So it's a bummer that he's got this ankle injury. The rumor is, though, that it's not that serious, so he might be available to play this next game. We'll see. Maybe they suit him up and just put him on a small snap count or something like that. Maybe just for blitzing situations, something of that nature. But be pretty curious to see how it plays out with him this next week.
Yeah, and Larry, the news on Becton, I know it seemed like more of a niche situation. I mean, we really won't know much until probably Tuesday to Wednesday. Even after the victory against the Vikings, Jim Harbaugh's like, see you on Tuesday. Everybody's like, see you, dude. I got a nice little long weekend, dude. We're good to go.
Later, dude.
hopefully these guys still do stay engaged. I mean, West Coast teams going to East Coast teams, sometimes I get a little nervous about those games just because time difference and everything too. So, but we'll see what happens with Becton. I mean, gosh, got to get him out there. Got to keep him healthy out there somewhere.
He's a big dude, man, but he had injury issues at the Eagles as well too. I always wondered why he was out, or why they didn't re-sign him. And now you kind of know that he's had some injury issues and he just can't seem to get himself right. But we'll see what happens. A little more time off. Obviously let Ben Herbert work with him.
Yep.
See how it plays out.
Speaking of defense, a little bit with Derwin James. I know it's not the same position or anything like that, but there's been some rumors about Quinnen Williams basically
He's
being
awesome.
available too. And I'm not picking on the Jets by any means, but they got talent on that team. It's just the talent ain't coming together. And Quinnen Williams, just adding that defensive interior guy to this team would be absolutely stellar. I love this dude. This dude is awesome as a defensive tackle. I mean, 81.8. overall grade on PFF, 8th in the league at this point. This guy's 17 pressures. This guy's an absolute menace. You put him in a Jesse Minter defense, pair him up with Tier Tart, with Jamari Caldwell. Like, you're going to have a great interior D-line. Plus, then you add the edges, too, with Mack, Tooley, and Owe. Dude, this could be one of those phenomenal D-lines in the NFL if you make that trade. Now, I heard they want a king's ransom, essentially, for him. He's got a high contract too. Whatever, if the whole salary cap thing's a myth, they'll figure it out one way or another. But that's one that's been out there too. I will throw out, and I saw some random other thing too, that Brian Thomas Jr. is out there potentially for trade too. Wide receiver from the Jaguars, who was a stud last year from
the that dude
for draft. Weird that he's out there, but he's not having a good year. But, that's the whole idea why a player like that would get traded if Liam Cohen doesn't feel like he fits well with their system. So see where it goes. But there's a lot of little things out there and rumors going out there. But Quinnen Williams, I want to hear from you guys in the chat. What's your thoughts about going after Quinnen Williams and everybody here on the podcast? Let's start with you, Charger Takes, since you're our guest.
Yeah, I love it. I feel like also historically, there's we have a pretty good trade relationship with the Jets. Now, do we need? I think offensive line or running back first. I love Quinnen Williams, but I think it's offensive line or running back. I saw somebody say something in the chat of like, who remembers Sproles, Turner, and LT? Oh, we could do a three punch. I'm all for Breece Hall, to be honest. That is kind of the popular option. I don't think we need anything on the defense. Quinnen Williams, awesome. But I've seen funny mic'd up videos of him too. So looks like a good locker room guy. But I don't know if I support that one.
Yeah, it'd be a tough one too. And kind of going back to your whole idea about having good relations with the Jets. Was it Chad Alexander came from the Jets too, by the way, who is also under Joe Ortiz. Now think about what Joe Ortiz has been doing, a lot of connections with the Ravens too. So it's like they kind of dabble into what they know. And you know what? This would be an elite pickup if you do that. Now, is it a necessary pickup? I think to your point, because you think about the O-line, which is a tough one to go out there and get an elite guy right now at this time of the year. But the running back position could be easier. Yeah.
Bottom line, we need something else somewhere.
Yep.
And I know that's like a pick me take. That's not like a hot take to, but they can't go wrong. If they do go with somebody like Quinnen Williams, I'm still happy.
Agreed.
Well, the good news is we'd have a lot of money left over next year to pay him some big dollars as well too. Like I think Odafe Owe, we want him now, but secondarily we can have him next year. So give him a long-term contract, which would be big. So that's probably one of the differences I think that it happens baseball compared to football. Usually when you make a trade, you're trying to keep that person here long-term unless they really just don't work out, but so we'll see what teams are willing to give up. I think tackles are going to be really hard. You're not going to get a starting tackle. You're not going to get a starting guard, most likely. I guess you could, but most teams are going to keep those players, right? Because they're hard to find.
Unless like a guard center tackle gets benched for whatever reason, then they say, okay, hey, look, that's the reason why they were looking at the Braxton Jones of the Bears too. They felt, hey, we got another guy here. We could bench him. We feel he's playing better than him. That's where that whole potential trade could happen for an O-line guy.
Yeah.
Now,
Well, good example. Yeah, Austin Powers Johnson, right? He took over the spot for
Austin
Andre
Powers,
James.
is that his name? Austin Powers?
Yeah. Or is Jackson Powers? Jackson
Jackson.
Powers.
Yeah,
Austin
baby.
Powers. Yeah, baby. Yeah. Yeah. So, why did I say Austin Powers? That's great, man. I
love
didn't
it.
get Adderall now. What's up?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, I mean, look, he outplayed Andre James, took his spot, and we picked him up in free agency. So, yeah, I mean, there's probably players available to some degree, but they're probably going to want a king's ransom for him, and that's the question, right? I mean, 6 draft picks with the amount of money we have next year just means we could load up even more. So, it's exciting, but I guarantee teams are going to try and make us pay through the nose to get somebody. So, yeah, we'll see what we do.
Yeah, and to the point here, this is Quentin Williams' contract right here. Essentially, it's kind of like a 1-year contract, and you could let him go and have a salary cap savings at this point. He did sign a big contract too, but looking at it, it's not that bad as a contract for the dollar value. It does increase after this season. We don't have the salary cap to absorb that type of cap number at this point. But you know what? You get a guy who's an elite tackle. Basically, when his contract's done, he'll be 30 years old, which is still a good age for a defensive tackle, a young guy still.
Ooh.
So who knows? Who knows what happens there?
Tarheeb still did get an MCL injury. So,
oh man. So
they put me out at corner. I played in high school.
Yeah, there you go.
If we're gonna go down like that, I asked somebody, I was like, hey, what's the craziest thing that you would do for a healthy offensive line? He's like, hey man, I'm 150 pounds. Throw my ass out there. And that's how I'm feeling right now. Everyone's hurt. What's going on?
Dude,
go for it.
Do you guys think it's the turf? Like, I know the analytics don't point towards the turf, but the eye test always tells me the turf.
Yeah, I mean, that's the talk of the town. And that's been that way for a while. And a lot of other ex-NFL players talk about that it's the turf. I mean, think about how grass works versus turf. Turf is very, very it's going to stay there. Your ankle, your foot is going to lock in on that ground versus grass will allow your foot to move. And I think it totally could be. I mean, obviously falling on that turf too is probably not very good. I have turf in my backyard. If I fall on that, if for whatever reason, it's going to hurt. It's very, very hard. It's almost like a concrete feel to it in a weird way. It's
also
not
just like rubber, like it's bouncy. So when you see these like Achilles tendons breaking out of nowhere. Like
right.
It's like
it's
if
really
you're
weird.
an NFL player with that amount of force, when you lay your foot on something bouncy, it's like a trampoline effect where that energy bounces right back into you and you get these random injuries out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I don't think it should be allowed. Like statistically, I've looked it up. They say there's not too much of a comparison or too much of a argument to be made, but I don't know.
And actually, it's interesting how this news about Tarheeb still came up. So going back to those players that the Chargers did try out on Friday, they kind of knew what was going on with Tarheeb at that point.
Yep.
They did have 3 defensive backs. Actually, I'll even add the 4th one here too that did try out for the team. So defensive back Lewis Seen, which was a guy who was a high-level pick from the Vikings. Marcus Williams, defensive back, which I believe is a name that we've had on this team before. Daryl Worley was another guy too. And let's go back to this guy. Marcus May, safety, was even worked.
We had him last year.
Yep. So they are looking a little bit about trying to add some guy there too. I don't know if they've signed anybody yet. Just to even go down the list of the other players that did work out. Raekwon Davis, defensive tackle, and Christopher Hinton, which we've had on the team for a very long period of time, defensive tackle, and Kyle Pecco, defensive tackle. So it is interesting to see kind of what's going on there, and they might bring in another cornerback on this team. So we'll see. It sucks to hear about Tarheeb.
I could see that happening, though. I could see a cornerback happening. I mean, those guys get banged up, man. They're small. They're not big bodies, and so it's unfortunate. It's part of the game.
Very much so. But guys, enjoy the bye week, by the way, the mini bye week, and enjoy a stressless Sunday football too. And once again, let's go Cowboys, beat the Broncos, smack them around, please.
Yes.
That's the game to watch this afternoon for sure. And obviously the Chiefs Commanders game on Monday night. Yeah, I don't think the Commanders have a shot on that one, but unfortunately, let's just see the Broncos lose today. Let's see the
Broncos. Yeah. Cool, man. Well, I think it's exciting. I think bottom line, it's good to see us finally get that get right game. What did I say? We needed a slump buster, right? We were kind of struggling. We went out and got a swamp donkey, took care of business with the Vikings. Just tenderized that meat exactly, Miguel, and took care of business, dude. And but again, 10 days. Let some of these guys that are banged up get right and go from there.
Yeah, love it, man. And last thoughts for me, man, just keep this ball rolling, man. I mean, next week you play against the Titans. This is one of the games a lot of Charger fans are flying out to, too. A lot of guys that I know are going to be at that game, and that was one that I was planning to go to, but ended up not working out. But keep the ball rolling, guys. One thing I get nervous about these bye weeks and these mini bye weeks is players start to get a little disengaged. And I mean, I think Harbaugh does a great job of keeping players engaged at all times. I mean, keep it rolling. We're 5-3. Next week we win again 6-3, and this is where the season really starts. This is the run to the playoffs at this point. So keep it rolling, guys. And I'm looking forward to seeing what this next week brings to this team. And let's just keep the ball rolling, guys. So Charger Takes, we're going to end with you just with your last thoughts. We appreciate you once again being on the pod today. But what are your last thoughts before you end the show?
I appreciate you guys having me on. It's been a blast. My last thoughts are, I think we have some pretty winnable games ahead of us. And bolt up. That's all I have to say.
Bolt up.
Keep it simple, man. Let's go.
That's what it always comes down to.
No doubt. No doubt.
Awesome.
I love it. All right, guys. Well, let's get on out of here. So let's get out of here. Bolt Bros.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Hey, what's up? Cameron Dick here watching Bolt Bros podcast.